gonna get things going.
Just give me one sec. My second screen cut out, of course.
Of course.
Of course. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Mave Chez's International Women's Day celebration. Today, we'll be diving into what it means to build a legacy and why it's so important. My name is Victoria, aka Mave, and I'm joined by my co-founder, Dani, who is Shay, and we're so excited to get today started.
Hi guys, so nice to see so many women here. This is awesome. I know some people are going to be trickling in, but wow, we can't wait to get started. Vic and I have been working on Mave Chez for almost 3 years, for those of you who don't know much about us and our brand, and we're finally launching this spring. So very exciting. We've actually created this brand for this exact reason, to create a space for women to gather, connect, talk to one another about what it really means to be a woman in today's world. And yeah, if you haven't already dropped your name into the chat and where you're tuning in from, please do so in the comments. Love seeing that.
So we wanted to take a moment quickly to introduce the incredible speakers we have here. And we're going to be starting our fireside chat very soon. So first up, we have Alyssa Kerbel, the founder of Mioche. She is a multi-passionate, lifelong entrepreneur. Her first venture was a wholesale fashion sales agency. And then Alyssa went on to found Mioche in 2008, an ethical and sustainable children's apparel brand. Since that time, Mioche has become the go-to brand in the children's wear market. In addition to Mioche, Alyssa and her team recently launched an adult women's basic collection called M & West. I got targeted with one of your ads, by the way, so they must be working, which is made locally and ethically in Toronto with organic cotton and non-toxic dyes. She is passionate about spiritual entrepreneurship, personal growth, as well as promoting a message around the power of human kindness in helping us to heal us and change the world. Yay, Alyssa.
Thanks, Alyssa, for being here, and you can connect with her after the event if you'd like, and check out Mioche. Up next, we have Erica Rome Washington, CEO and co-owner of Riverbirch Candles. She started her business about 5 years ago with her husband out of their 1-bedroom apartment in Dallas, Texas. Super jealous that you're there in the nice warm weather. They now work out of their warehouse just north of Dallas with their team of local artisans making candles, room sprays, and matches. They specialize in customizable candles and room sprays for small businesses across the world. She's also volunteered at the Rogers Wildlife Rehabilitation Center just outside of Dallas. So thanks for being here, Erica. We're super excited to have you. And you guys can also connect with Erica after the event.
Thanks for having me.
Our next speaker is the incredible Francine Mbvoumbo, and she is the founder of Mothers to Daughters, an organization that strives to bridge the intergenerational gap between younger women and more experienced women. She sits on the youth committee for Job Starts, where she helps develop mentoring solutions for youth, is among the 2020 top 100 women to watch in Canada. She was also honored with the Legacy Award from Volunteer Toronto and was recently a mentorship finalist for the Women Empowerment Awards. Francine is fluent in English and French, très bien, and some of her interests include reading, meditation, and physical wellness. My French is definitely not as good as yours, Francine, but you can connect with Francine after the event as well at Mothers to Daughters.
And I have the honor and privilege of introducing my co-founder, Victoria Marshman, who's also going to be on the panel today. She's a passionate, driven entrepreneur, also my wife. She's a community leader and dance educator. Victoria has operated with me and scaled 2 6-figure companies since 2015. We've helped raise over $200K for local Canadian charities through charitable events. She's won prestigious awards, such as the Canadian Event Industry Award finalist in 2019 and BizBash's Most Influential Event Professional in 2019, and was an RBC Women of Influence nominee. Recently, Vic has co-founded Mave Chez, which you'll hear all about today. Victoria and I have always been passionate about fashion and are former competitive and professional dancers. We know the importance of proper footwear and feel that all women deserve to be comfortable without compromising their style. And you can connect with Vic after the event. We're also going to stay on the chat on the link a little bit longer if you want to chat with us. So definitely check out Vic and her bio. And we're going to get right into it.
Yeah, so we're so excited to get the panel started. But before we do it, in case this is your first time hearing about Mave Chez, not Chez, I feel like our non-Canadian friends are always like Mave Chez, like Chez, it's français. We are a luxury ergonomic slipper brand on a mission to empower women to live a bold life and build and step into their legacies. We've created house flats, a brand new category of slippers offering the perfect cross between a comfortable loafer, sophisticated slipper with the support of a sneaker, and they can be worn at home or on the go and everything in between. We've made these with the help of podiatrists, and our house flats are designed with arch support and over 9 function-first features. We can go on and on about how amazing they are and all the health benefits. But if you actually want to learn more, we'd love to tell you all about them. So stay on the link after our talk and we'll answer any questions you have.
It has definitely been a wild journey creating something from scratch with zero knowledge of the footwear industry. And some of you are entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs and know what that's like. So on days like today, we know that it's important to acknowledge our own achievements and also acknowledge some of yours. So if you've had a big win or a small win or a medium-sized win, drop it in the chat. We're always so inspired by what you're doing in the world, and we want you to share that with us today and give yourself a pat on the back, whether it's big or small. Today's really about celebrating our accomplishments and not being afraid to share what we're proud of with each other.
Yeah, we definitely don't pat ourselves on the back enough. So definitely drop something in there, declare it. So earlier this year, Dani and I actually visited our factory in Brazil, and we were able to meet all of the incredible people creating and actually building our house flats with their own hands. We're really proud to be making our shoes in Brazil. They have the highest quality materials, strong labor laws, and great factory standards. We saw them with our own eyes, so we're so proud. And seriously, their attention to detail is like no other. There's over 100 steps that go into making our house flats, and most of those steps are done by hand. So it was a very humbling and rewarding experience to go there and actually see them.
Yeah, so anyone who's ever pre-ordered, or if you end up pre-ordering today, you'll be receiving them early this spring, which is really exciting. You'll finally get to experience them. And if you aren't already wearing something comfortable, supportive at home or at your office, definitely stay chat with us, because we can't tell you enough times how important it is to add a function first house shoe into your life. On another note, we believe in doing good every day with small actions. And that's why we're donating 20% of proceeds of all Mave Chez orders today to our charity partner, Good to Be Good. You can learn more about it. Good to Be Good is an amazing intersectional community-wide grassroots organization with a mission to serve women. And everyone who purchases today will also receive a free gift, our beautiful Mave's cleaning kit, which includes a suede brush to help clean your house flats and any other suede shoes that you guys have at home. So Adrian from our team is going to pop the link there in the chat, and you can head on over and check that out. Okay, let's jump in back into today's event. We want to go over a little bit of housekeeping. So today we're going to have our fireside chat. We're going to have that right now with our amazing speakers. Once we're done the fireside chat, we're going to do something that Vic and I love to call speed networking. So we'll chat a little bit more about that and how it all works, but it's really, really impactful. And it's such a great way to quickly meet amazing women from all over and really share what you're doing, why you're doing it, and talk a little bit more about legacy. And then finally, we'll be announcing the winner of our massive International Women's Day giveaway. So you have to be here in order to win. So stick around. We've got plenty of exciting things coming up then.
So before we dive into today's fireside chat on what it means to build a legacy, we wanted to send a big, big thank you to all of our incredible giveaway partners who have donated over $1,300 worth of prizes. Here they are, all of these. It's just crazy. We're so grateful. So big thanks to our giveaway partners, Tees Tea, Go Laser, Riverbirch Candles, Leah Marks, Mothers to Daughters, Cheekbone Beauty, and Mini Mioche for contributing such incredible prizes. Who's going to be the winner?
Ooh, very exciting. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm going to stop the share so we can see all of your beautiful faces. If you're here, awesome. Yeah, come on, camera. Don't be shy. Let's see your faces. That's yeah. Hi, Linda. Hi, everyone. Okay. So before we get to the, we're so close. I want to know what legacy means to you. Drop your answer in the chat. Let's really think about this. You know, the world is connected by stories, traditions, memories, hopes, and we're all connected to the legacies passed down from those who came before us and the legacies that we pass down to those who come after us. And legacy means developing and passing on a timeless part of you. For us at Mave Chez, it's really about the long-lasting impacts we make on other people and what we leave behind. The legacy you leave is built one day at a time, one person at a time, over a lifetime. It's these tiny gestures that multiply in significance over the course of our lives. You know, how do I want people to think about me after I leave a room or after I have a conversation with them? And when you think about it that way, it helps you wrap your head around the whole concept, right? Like even just the idea of thinking about your legacy generally helps you decide the kind of life you want to live and the kind of world you want to live in.
I think one of the biggest things also to realize about legacy is it looks different for everyone, and we really do get to decide what ours will be. And it'll always feel different. But in the end, it's about how we live today, tomorrow, and eventually inadvertently leave our mark on this world. It's definitely a big concept, which is why we wanted to make today's call happen on International Women's Day. And we hope by diving a bit deeper into this idea and our incredible speakers giving you some tangible takeaways on how to think about it, you can realize that it boils down to small little things you do every day and every week to make the world a better place. Our goal for you, our intention for you really is for you to leave feeling a bit more inspired about what type of legacy you want to leave, and you know, the big and small things that you can do to contribute to your legacy. So this event is really about you, and we hope you get a lot of clarity by the end of this call.
So I would love to ask our speakers to unmute themselves if they're already unmuted. We like to keep things pretty casual and candid here. So I'm going to start with, you know, this question, because legacy is really, like Vic said, such a big concept. It's almost overwhelming to think about. And we want to deconstruct the concept and understand and learn from you guys. So what does it mean to you to build a legacy, and how do you work toward building it? And Francine, you're really an expert in legacy. So I want to pass it off to you to kick it off.
Thank you, Dani. I think what you shared earlier was just so on point. I mean, I like the long-lasting legacy element of it, but to your point, legacy is oftentimes, interpreted as, your wealth, and it's something that most people actually buy in. And going back to when I founded Mothers to Daughters, I think what was really important was, like you said, it is your footprint, and you want to make sure every day when you wake up, your legacy can be lived, when you leave a room and people remember how the energy you brought into that room. It's as simple as that. And in the grand scheme of things, it becomes, how am I going to be remembered down the line? What are the steps I'm taking every single day to make sure I leave a mark? I am in the tech space, and legacy systems are generally systems that no one wants to use them anymore. They're incredibly low and slow, and we want to retire from them. So when you think of legacy, think of your life as a treadmill. What are you doing that is contributing over time to something that people will say, Dani was here or Victoria was here? That's how I see legacy.
I love that. It's and like you said, it's like the things you're doing every day. So Alyssa, I know that you have built such an amazing, business, and legacy is so important to you too. Maybe you can talk a little bit about some of the things we're doing on a daily basis that help contribute to it.
Sure. I mean, it's funny. I feel like the concept of legacy for me has really changed over time, and as I've gotten older. And I think perhaps for a while it was for me tied a lot into my career and my business and my impact that I could have through my business. And I think that now I see it more as just the impact that I ultimately would love to have on just other people. And just how I want to make people feel and how I want to feel in my day-to-day and how I'm showing up. I think there's a Maya Angelou quote that like always has really resonated with me. That is like, people will forget what you said and people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And to me, when I think about the people who leave behind the most beautiful legacy, it's that they have shown up in such a way in their life, in their day-to-day, that they have impacted others positively and, leveled people up, brought out the best in other people, and that's kind of the impact that I think I would love to have in my life, is just like the idea of people, being able to say that I contributed in some way positively to their life and experience.
I love that. Yeah, it's so hard for us as women too, because we're so hard on ourselves. And I find that, if we have a bad day, it's like, the world is, going to come crashing down on us, or it feels like that. And so you're like, oh my God, I didn't do anything this week or this month or this day to contribute to that legacy. And I think that it's so important to just remind yourself, like you said, it's just about how you're going to make people feel, even if it's something just small. Erica, what does it mean for you with your life and legacy for you?
I really love the way Francine was saying it. Just it's the energy you bring in, it's how people remember you, and just leaving a positive impact through all the small little things I can do, because I don't necessarily see some like big shift that I'll make in the world. Like I might not be in a history book, but if someone who knew me remembers me, like maybe I made them smile, made them laugh, made them a good candle, just those little things that I could do are the legacy that I hope to leave. But I'm still in my 20s, so it's not something I think about every day, but it is something I'm thinking about as I'm getting closer to like 30s and so on.
It's such a good reminder though, right? Like it doesn't really matter what age you're at, because the impact you can have on other people, even just with your candle company, like giving someone that kind of piece of joy, right? It's so powerful. And I think we all take it for granted. We all think we have to be doing these really big, crazy things to make an impact. And sometimes it's just, like you said, just those little things, and even starting to think about it in your 20s, right? Vic is really big on legacy. So Vic, how do you kind of interpret it? And I know we're building a brand around legacy, so it's nice for us to actually think about this and step away. So how does it kind of impact you in your daily?
I think I like to go deep real quick. So I'm gonna take this in a different direction. And I've really thought about it a lot. Especially I'm in Mexico right now, and I'm in this community where there's so many incredible women, a lot very spiritual. So we've done a couple gatherings, and when I think about my legacy, a lot of it actually has to do with honoring my roots and where I've come from, how hard my family and my ancestors and everyone have worked to be able to get me here. So it's this combination of like being in the present and doing all of those little things like all of my other incredible speakers have said, but also honoring the legacy that I've come from. And I was part of a women's circle like 2 weeks ago, and we did this meditation where we were put in a scenario to talk to like our grandmothers and our great grandmothers and experience what life was like for them and how much they lived in survival and scarcity mode, and came from like nothing and worked so hard so that their future generations could get here. So I spent a lot of time in that headspace and being like, wow, we're so friggin' lucky that we can even just be here and be able to have these kinds of conversations and create a better world for future generations. So I think a part of legacy is also working on your own shit, like getting comfortable with the uncomfortable parts of yourself, your shadows. I've spent a lot of time in personal growth and working through my own stuff. So I think that's also a big part of legacy, is being in touch with yourself and how you can continue to show up better for those around you every day.
I love that. Yeah, I was reading something this morning too that said legacy is looking at your past, your present, and hoping for the future. So I love that, because legacy really isn't just about, what am I leaving behind right now, but it's looking back to you and to all the people that came before you as well, right? Francine, you kind of touched upon this, but the idea of tying legacy to what you're doing in terms of your business or your work and your career, and they're very tied together. And there's something, a part of all of us, that I feel like they shouldn't be. They should be separated. And I'm trying to figure out how we do that. So how do you kind of stop tying those two things together?
Great question. And I just have to say, Victoria, that was amazing. I like the stepping out of the comfort zone, because that's something that we focus so actively at Mothers to Daughters, encouraging the younger generation. But Dani, I think when I was younger, I really used to think, success and, having a legacy was limited to me being raising up, going up the ladder at work in the corporate space. And I came to a point where I understood what I'm doing outside of my community and Mothers to Daughters is contributing to developing me. And when I wake up every day, I tell myself, this is really where I'm doing a self-check to say, how do I want to impact myself in a way that I'm able to give back intentionally, and how what I'm doing in my workplace is contributing to my growth as I'm also continuing my journey in the community. So I'm really taking the best out of what the corporate space is instilling in me, and growing in a way that I'll be able to impact others, impact myself daily, and be able to also pave the way for future generations. Again, back to Victoria, we need to think about the people before, the people that are coming after us. And this is really where, as I'm looking at the 360, it keeps me accountable. I make it incumbent upon me to go about creating that legacy, that footprint, and that mark, and how I want to be remembered in the now, before, and in the future.
Love that. And listen, like, let's be honest too, right? Like, as women, we do want to make money, and we do want to, have, the titles that men have held for so many years and decades, right? Like, we do want that. We want that sense of ownership and leadership and power in the world, right? So it's not necessarily, doesn't need to be a part of your legacy, right? So Alyssa, how do you kind of differentiate the two, or, feel about, success being tied to legacy in some way?
I think that, like, going back to sort of what Victoria was sharing, this has been a big part of my journey, is that, doing a lot of the personal growth work, and perhaps a lot of the healing work that a lot of us start to delve into as we are going through this journey, which to me helps us becoming from a place that is around alignment and how we want to show up in the world without having all these voices of like, what does it mean to be successful? Like, it's like, at the end of the day, the more you can be true to yourself and the more that you can be aligned to who you really are, the more you like clarity you start to get on, you know, what is your legacy? And it doesn't actually have to do with your work at all. Like, I actually think that most of the time, you know, it may have to do with the work you're doing in the world. But a lot of the time, like, I actually, you know, work with a coach and stuff. And, you know, she will always say that, like, the more work you do on yourself and the more healing you do on yourself, the more you're able to heal the people around you, the more you're able to support the people around you. They're able to show up for them. I actually was reading a newsletter from one of the people in my community today, Sari Fox, her name is, and she wrote, "We'll only change the world if we learn to create change within ourselves. That will affect the people around us and closest to us." Like, I am just sort of now at a point where it's like, I feel like I've had a certain amount of success with my business. I feel like there's elements to that allow me to have a positive mark on the world and contribute in a positive way. But actually, how I want to show up and contribute most, and I guess have my legacy, you know, be defined, is just in the personal work that I'm doing on myself and how that allows me to support others in my world, my family, my kids. Like, I think as a parent, as a mother, your legacy is your children also in a lot of ways. It's like, who are you bringing into the world and how are you allowing them to show up in the world? And to me, the more work I do on myself, and the more I understand myself, the more I can support them in being their best self. And it just trickles down and it trickles back, because you're actually healing ancestrally. When you do the healing work, you're healing back and forwards, and it's beautiful. Not easy work, I will say, but beautiful work and meaningful work. And so that to me is a huge part of creating a meaningful legacy, for me at least.
I love everything you just said. And I feel like as a new mom, I also just recently kind of felt too, like exactly what you're saying. When I kind of work on myself and heal myself, I show up better for my daughter. And so I think that is like an integral part of legacy too. When you can kind of work on yourself, you're able to go out into the world and take better action. So I love what you just said. Erica, what does it mean for you? You know, you're starting up your business, so it's like you're all consumed by it, right? How does it what does it mean for you in terms of success being tied to legacy?
Honestly, before I'd really been thinking about this topic, legacy. I really separated the two. I didn't really think about how what I do is leaving a legacy, because I don't know. To me, I was really thinking of legacy as just the energy that you leave in the room, the positive impact that you have from person to person. But I think talking about legacy more has made me kind of think, like, the more success I have, I do end up making more of a positive impact, because our candles also donate to Feeding America. A lot of small businesses, we're their whole business, like they just sell candles. So it's not something I really thought about as like an extra why for work. So it's kind of motivated me a little bit more to help more people. But outside of work, it's definitely like, I hope I leave a positive impact. And if I'm successful in everything I do and everything I'm wanting to do, like outside of work too, like at the Wildlife Center, like if I could help more birds, because it's like baby bird season. So we get to help, I don't know, hopefully a ton of birds this year. So not too much with work, but somewhat with work. I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that you're working with birds too. I was just down in Florida and I was at a bird sanctuary and like found this whole new love of birds. So I'll pick your brain about it after.
Absolutely. I'm an amateur birder.
I got like a whole app and everything. Anyway, yeah, no, that's super helpful. And Vic, as someone who's building, you know, a purpose-driven brand, how do you find that you kind of can separate the two or even tie legacy into kind of what you're building?
Yeah, I thought a lot about this question because, I mean, a lot of people on this call have known me for a long time, which just thank you so much for all the people I see here that have been with Dani since we started our first business, like almost 7-8 years ago. It's really beautiful. But I used to be goal obsessed. Like I even used to run workshops with our old business City Moguls, where I would train and coach people how to set goals and how to crush them, and like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5-year goals. And I was obsessed. It's like always like, oh, what's next? Yeah. And I started to realize that like I would achieve that goal, and then it didn't really feel like I thought it would when I would get to achieving that goal. So over the years, especially in becoming an entrepreneur, and so much of what I thought measured as success as a younger person was like achieving these goals and like getting these accolades, has changed so much. It's almost like I don't even set goals anymore. I just have like this like larger vision of like what I see my life being like and the type of person I want to show up every day. So at the end of the day, for me, success has become something that is tied to how I live in my values every day. Like I've gotten really clear with what's important to me as a person, and being kind and listening and curious and silly. And if I'm showing up in those values every day, then it's a successful day. It's the days where I do things that are against my values that I'm like, okay, maybe today was a good learning day. So I hope that's helpful for you guys, because yeah, the goal setting mindset can be a bit dangerous if you take it too seriously.
I love that. Does anyone else want to chime in there? Francine?
Yeah, what you just said is it just resonates. I feel like she was, she's reading my mind, because that's exactly how I operate as well. I used to be, these goals and just nailing them down and then telling yourself, yes, right? And it goes back to when I was younger, just the titles and get there, because you have to work hard, that you lose sense of what your meaning really is and your purpose really is. And when you nail that down, you realize that success doesn't define legacy. It can contribute to it, just like money contributes to happiness, but it really is how you look at the grand scheme of things and how you move ahead, knowing that you'll be able to make someone smile today. Like, success to me means going 5 times a week to the gym. Everything else is just, okay, it's a compliment, right? It's just a nice to have, but success is really what makes me feel, because tending your inner garden is so important. We know that, and we've said it in various phrases in this conversation, but it's really taking that self pulse and telling yourself, like, where am I going? How is my soul feeling today? Am I at peace? Am I making someone else smile? And that's why success or legacy can be being an achiever in a way that you provide for your family, in a way that, you're able to go to bed knowing that you made someone, get a job, or you mentored a newcomer, or you had an engaging conversation like today. Like, this conversation is such a success to me so far. So yeah, Dani.
No, that's so great. And kudos to everyone for showing up too. Like, we're all so busy. We all have so many things to do, that the to-do list is endless. And just to say, I'm going to take a step back today, and I'm going to be inspired, and I'm going to, learn from other people. It's just I agree. It's a big success just to say, I'm going to step away, because everything can wait for an hour and a half. And I'm going to do something for me. And I love that you said, things to like make, I don't know exactly how you said it, but you said something about things to make your soul happy, or something about your soul. And so I want to know from you guys, what are the things that you do to kind of like feed the soul, whether it's something daily or something that you've been doing your whole life, or something recent that, you want to share with everyone?
You want me to start?
Sure. That's because you're spotlighted right now.
Yeah, and just going back to that comment I made, I call it a self-pulse or daily self-screen. So you go in on the inside and you ask yourself, how do I feel today? And one of the best ways I've been able to do just that is by meditating. I cannot stress enough how important meditating is. Just having that quiet time when you wake up in the morning, setting your intentions for the day, and, just preparing your body, mind, and soul to embrace what the day is, going to bring ahead. That has been really working for me. Exercising as well, because, we need to nurture our body. We need to, because our bodies are temples. So, making sure we really do the little things that will make us show up better or differently. And I think, Dani, you did mention that. So further to that, obviously, you want to make sure that as you set those intentions, you hold yourself accountable to act on it, right? If you say today, I will be, devoting my time to this community or, talking to this person, make sure when you get into that Zoom call or that coffee place, you really, make a point to like bring that positive energy to the person, right? Like the little things once again. And then being accountable on everything you do, everything you set your mind to is very important. So you can be accountable towards yourself and also have people on the outside, whether it be mentors, board of directors, friends and family, to help reinforce the intentions that you set for yourself. All those little things really contribute to making you that person. That's what's been working for me.
What, just curious, because I think a lot of people want to start meditating and don't know how. What kind of meditation do you do that you can share with everyone?
I used to meditate using because I read my Bible or Bible plans when I wake up in the morning. So after reading a plan, I would just let it soak in, right? That was just a practice I was doing when I started. And then I moved on from that to using an app called Abide. It really helps you. It helps calm your soul, and you really feel, as someone is speaking, it's a guided meditation, right? And then recently I started using Insight Timer. It's even better. Insight Timer can, whether you're a beginner, expert, or intermediate, it really helps you through a journey where if you wake up in the morning saying, it's a big day, maybe I have a presentation, you want to be doing those affirmations that will make you feel extra confident. So I like how versatile the app is, and I recommend it to everyone. So now I can move between guided meditation in the morning to, before even opening my computer or going to bed, meditate as well throughout the day, right? It's just when you pause and you quiet the noise around you, that really helps center your thoughts.
Love that. Vic, I can see like Vic nodding her head.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I love it. Victoria's like waiting to tell you all about her meditation stuff. For all of the new moms or any kind of moms, really, I don't know what it's like to have older children yet, but we don't really have the luxury of like waking up and meditating. So I don't know, Alyssa, if there's anything else that you do or you can share about like just generally like the things that you do to feed your soul.
Yeah, I mean, I think that something that you were saying, Victoria, about setting goals and that being, a big thing for you. And I think, I've always been a big goal setter, and that same feeling of like, I'm going to do this and then doing it and feeling like, it's like, I think where I'm at now is like, how am I feeling in achieving this? Like, how am I showing up and how am I feeling in doing whatever I'm doing? The process, not just getting where it is, but actually the process and enjoying the process more. And I think when I think about, like, again, how I'm showing up, and this is a big part of, I think, my legacy is my energy. Like, that my energy is, I think, my biggest gift. And so I'm always very conscious of how am I protecting and nurturing my energy. And as a new mom, like, when you don't have a lot of time in the day, let's say, to sit down and do a meditation, and I think you can always carve out 5-10 minutes, and that's all it takes. But I feel like music and dancing is a big one for me. And you can do it with a baby, and you can do it with a toddler, and you can do it with anybody. And it's a huge instant mood elevator and energy shifter. So if you do that honestly for 5 minutes in the morning, it will change your whole day guaranteed. And just finding whatever that thing is for you. I do all of the things. Literally, I'm a big practice toolbox. So it's like some meditation. I'm in a journaling challenge right now. I love the Othership breathwork app. Other like breathwork to ground and center and feel in a calmer space is huge for me. Getting outside, being in sunshine if it's a beautiful day, moving my body, all of the things. It requires all of the tools in my toolbox, honestly, on a daily basis. And that allows me to have the energy and be in the place of sort of joyful presence and gratitude as much as possible on a day-to-day basis.
I love that. That reminds me too of, I was listening to a podcast recently about, and they shared this with Vic, and I'm going to butcher exactly what it said, but the whole concept was really just about having new experiences that help to elevate your everyday life, and it in turn helps you have a happier life. So, getting out of the, Groundhog Day kind of feeling of wake up, do this, work, go to bed, and having new experiences like going to a dance party or joining a journaling challenge, like you said, or, taking a trip, meeting someone new, doing an event like this, right? All of these new experiences, once they kind of accumulate over time, actually help you become a happier person. And to tie it all back around, then can help you contribute to your legacy, right? So I think that's something so powerful, right? Just to say, today I'm going to do one kind of new thing, and that will be my new thing this week that I do, to really set you, apart from your everyday life. So Vic, I know you always are doing constantly new experiences, and I'm sure you want to go back and talk a little bit about meditation. So I'll give you the floor there.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, all of this just excites me so much because I think it helps us all realize that, being a little selfish and taking care of ourselves first is what's going to help us be able to create these beautiful legacies and be able to overflow with joy and excitement and happiness and helping others and making a positive impact. I think a lot of our generation's trauma was tied around this desire, this construct of like, to be a woman, you have to be selfless. Like I've watched my mom and my aunts and a lot of like the matriarchal influences in my life, think that that's the way. And I think we're in our generation, we're really realizing like, no, we gotta put in our bank account, take care of ourselves before we can step out into the world and make a huge impact. But yes, going back to, I can't figure out how to turn off my Slack notifications, so I do apologize if you keep hearing a little tick tick.
We're good. You're good.
Okay, it's just me. It's just on my side. Okay, good. But coming back to meditation, before the pandemic, I read the book, The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. Changed my life. I'm not as intense now. I've definitely become less intense, but for a good 6 months, I did wake up at 5 a.m. and it made me realize how important those first hours in the day are to really setting the tone for the rest of your day. So if you're not already an early riser, I recommend giving it a shot. I will 100% be your accountability buddy. If you need somebody to call you at 6 a.m. or 6:30, whatever you want to do it, I'm happy to be that gal. But I've really set up a foolproof ritual for myself where I meditate, I journal, I move in some way, and it just helps me show up so much better. And some days are really hard and I only do one of those things, and other days I sleep in. Like I'm not doing this every single day, guys, but I try to. And it's really changed my life. And it's, as an Aries fiery person, I don't know who else is Aries out there, but I just have so much energy. Like you see me shaking so much because I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I have so much energy to give to the world. And it really, having that morning routine helps me stay grounded and centered and take care of myself first.
Love that. I love all the comments in the chat, by the way. I'm just like soaking it all in. It's great. I want to know, this is a tough question, but it's great for everyone to really think about. And maybe you can even just share a little bit, but where do you see yourself, 20, 30 years down the line? Where is, where are you in the world? What do you feel like your contribution was, big or small? Who are you? And going back to what everyone's kind of said on the call, what have you, how have you made those around you feel in the world? And if you are feeling bold today, which I hope you are, because it's International Women's Day, feel free to pop your answer in the chat where you kind of see yourself. And I encourage you to copy and paste it and put it somewhere, print it off or put it into an email yourself and send it to yourself in 10 years or something, because it's such a nice kind of concept that we don't do a lot, and we don't really sit and with ourselves and think about, well, where am I in 20 years? I don't know if anyone wants to start. I know it's such a big question, but I feel like everyone's feeling fiery today. Erica, go for it.
Where just a quick thing on the meditation part before we go to the other. I don't know if this makes a difference to anybody else, but since I used to have a lot of anxiety, something I like to do before I sit down and meditate is do anything to make myself happy. So I shift my emotions so I can just sit in a different energy. Because for me, when people told me like, oh, just sit down, meditate, focus on your breathing, that didn't like click for me, because then I just sit down and be anxious for 15 minutes and didn't get a lot of value from it. So if I can make myself have some kind of joy, some kind of gratefulness, I think that makes a big difference with like a short meditation practice. But in 30 years, I hope to be retired. I hope to be able to spend so much more of my time. I mean, I know I'll only be like, I don't know, like 48, 50-ish. And I just hope that I'm able to spend like every day volunteering somewhere. It's just so fun, maybe at different places. You get to meet the coolest people when you're volunteering, just from all walks of life. Especially, I'm sure there's so many of us that are entrepreneurs that you don't get to connect with a lot of people in person. Like everyone I talk to, for the most part, works for me. So, you kind of miss some of that human connection. So I look forward to having so much more human connection and being able to make more of an impact pretty much every day, I'd hope. And then just getting to be outside and go on walks and talk to other people and just general more human connection. And yeah, we're volunteering.
Love that. Francine?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm happy to go too.
Go ahead, Alyssa.
Me? Leah?
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I'm like looking at who's talking. Hi, Leah. Yeah. For sure. You want to chime in?
Yeah, I think I'd like to chime in. I'm proud of all of you on this talk. I think I'm the old bird on the perch here. So where am I going to be in 30 years? I'm going to qualify that by saying I hope I'm going to be alive.
we can talk 10 years, 20 years. Yeah.
But I think having been in the frontline service industry in social services for almost 40 years, one of the things that I'd like to kind of the pieces of wisdom that I'd like to bestow on amazing young women who are climbing to whatever goal they're setting for themselves. One of the lessons that I've learned in life is don't set your goals too firmly. Allow yourself to have flexibility, because life needs to be adaptable, and allow yourself the courage and the strength to remold your destiny, because what you think today is a really good goal, tomorrow you may need to adjust that. And if you adjust it, it's not a failure, it's a greater insight of what you're entitled to. So that's in my professional career, if I was too rigid, I'd never have accomplished all the amazing things that I've done in my career. And it's a massively checkerboard slate of activities, and I'm grateful for them. But if I would have just said that's where I want to go and that's my destination, I would never have had the fulfilled life that I've got right now.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. It's so great. And for those of you who don't know, Director of Youth for Change, you should check it out. It's an amazing, amazing nonprofit. And mentor some people there. So I'm very in love with Leah and You for Change. Anyway, Francine, I know you wanted to chime in there.
Yeah. Oh, I love what Leah said. We mold your future and don't have rigid goals. That's just amazing, because back to what Victoria and I were mentioning, that's something that, you know, you always like the grand scheme. Don't get stuck on this one goal. But, you know, years from now, I want to be the giver and the doer I am, right? I don't want to put any titles to it. I want to be able to contribute to, you know, bettering a younger woman's, you know, life pathway, one conversation at a time, just like I'm doing now. In the space I am in my day-to-day, I see so many few women in leadership positions. And I really want to look back 20, 30 years and say, I have contributed to bringing those women in those positions in one fashion or another, or I was the friend who was encouraging that person to apply for that role, or I was the friend who said, start that business. That's what I want to see myself. That's how I project myself in the future, because we really all have a greater purpose while on earth, and it is really ordained to leave the world better than we found them. And I really take that as a responsibility and hold myself accountable.
I have chills. Ooh, thank you. That's such a nice share. I want to just read a couple comments in the chat. If any of you want to pop on camera and share them with us, feel free. But I really love this because I feel like Jen's just being super raw and authentic and candid. But she said, I wish life had reverse retirement. I feel like in 50 years or in years when my kids need me less, I will want to be more involved in my work and thriving in it versus now when I feel more torn. Jen, I don't know if you want to pop on and share more about that. It's so refreshing to hear because it's true. It's like this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I meant to write 20 years, but I was like typing fast on my phone as I've got many screens going on here. But yeah, I think I've said this from day one. I own 2 pediatric physiotherapy clinics, and I treat as a pediatric physiotherapist, and I also manage the clinics, and we're growing. But I'm constantly changing my hours to run to hockey practice and to go to the school play. And like, I want to do all those things. But meanwhile, my business is running at the same time. And so that's what's important to me. And that's what I know at the end of the day, I'll be happier that I left early to get to that hockey game, and it is what it is. But then I'm thinking about my life in 20 years from now, when my kids are in university and they're, yes, of course they'll still need me, but not in that day-to-day running around where like the way that they need me right now. They need my physical presence right now. And so I wish that, like, when we talk about where do you see yourself in 20 years, like, yes, the more time, the more flexibility to reverse, but I also think that like, I'll want to be working more. I'll want to be keeping busy and doing the things that I didn't necessarily have the time to right now. So I wish it was flipped, because I need my freedom and flexibility now while my kids are little and I'm a chauffeur and a chef and all the different things. And so I try and think about how I can feel fulfilled now and in the future when still maintaining those things. So
Thank you.
That's my thoughts on retirement.
No, thank you for sharing that. It's so refreshing. And I'm sure all of like the moms are like, yes, I know how you feel, because you're like, but you're doing all of the things in this short amount of time. Right. And yeah, I totally hear that. Alyssa, I think you wanted to say something as well.
So I'm 47 and I actually feel like I'm just getting started. So I feel like in 20 years there's so much I want to accomplish and do, and I feel like everything in life is like a stepping stone to the next thing. Everything is an experience that you then are able to bring to the next phase of your life. And that's how I feel at this point, that I've had all these incredible experiences that I think are going to allow me to hopefully step into the next role of my life and support others in a truly meaningful way, because of everything I've been through, which is a lot, right? Like, we all have a story, we all have these experiences, we all have our unique gift and ability. And I think as we go through it, ideally, we can step in and own that more and more, and really leverage that in the service of others and in the support of others. And I feel like that's the next phase of this journey for me. And ideally there's, it's without limit and it goes on forever. There's no retirement. There is just having fun doing things you love and learning more about what that is for you as you go through the journey of life.
I love that. And it's so great to hear. And I feel like I'm one of those people too. Like I, see my dad, who's one of my biggest role models, and he's still working at, almost 70 and loves it. And I think that's so refreshing to hear too. So it's exciting for everyone to feel like, they can be just starting again or starting from scratch or starting new or just getting started at a later stage in their life too. So how refreshing. So thank you for sharing that. We have a minute left and I want us to really get to we love being punctual and staying on time. We want to get to our speed networking. So